again. My name is Anya and I'm back today with part 2 of the Vril. Or should I call it part 2 of the Vril introduction because I'm still only scratching on the surface and I don't even know why I opened this can of worms because this is endless. Vril is universe, right? So endless. And yeah, I have so much I want to share and talk about, and I'm not even close to talk about the technology, the chemtrails, the secret society. So bear with me. For now, I'm trying to explain the real energy as good as I can from what I know, how I use it as good as I can, and how it binds into magic. And not only in technology, how it binds into our everyday life, actually. So, yeah, just as a little refresher, Vril is a magical energy, and it cannot be compared with the current technique that we have of serving purely physical powers, right? So there is a high responsibility for the effects of the life energy. And it's very high in ethical and also in moral terms. And we know by misuse, Atlantis and other advanced civilization, they eventually collapse after millennia, right? And the power gained through this energy is an alternative to the current modern machinery and its mechanistic basis. So, and of course, the doctrine of the cosmic primal force is called by official science as absurd and nonsense, right? So, Vrilology is the practice of harnessing the life force that we share with other beings, or what we call gods. So also Vril through the practice of seer and Gelder science. Vrilology is lost science, and that was given to our most ancient ancestors by God, so that they could master the world they lived within and transform themselves into a race of God-men about 9,000 years ago. Well, plus minus a few thousand years, right? Depending on how many they took from us with all the resets. So we don't even know the real year. So, just to get that straight, gods are nothing more or less for me than beings that have the knowledge and either made it or they didn't. Beings that are in another realm, in another timeline that we are able to connect with. Higher beings, of course, because they got more knowledge. Not that I sound disrespectful. I am having respect. Because I myself, I work with Odin, right? So, but you can also see them as your ancestors or your guides, even your higher self. So, back to it. So this civilization was located on the shores of the ancient Black Sea. It grew into the lost civilization of original Aryans. And who were the ancestors of the Indo-Europeans? The Aryans misused the science and caused an ecological imbalance in the world climate. So they lost most of the knowledge of Vrilology after their civilization was destroyed in a great flood, resulting from the melting of the ice caps and raising the water levels of oceans. And this caused the land bridge between Europe and Asia Minor to collapse, and in turn caused the Black Sea to rise 300 feet and swept away that lost civilization. So which is remembered in our myth as both either the great biblical flood or as we know, the lost civilization of Atlantis. So the Vril is considered the epitome of that enormous energy, of which we consume only a tiny fraction in our ordinary life, like the tiny of the tiny, you can say, because it's a symbol of divinity. So, I mean, many people wrote about it, and one of them was Paul Spergia. He wrote a book, Departure into the Third Millennium. Among a lot of other things, he said this about the one who becomes a master of the Vril. At the same time, he becomes master of himself, his fellow man, and the whole world. This is the only desirable goal on which people have to focus all their efforts. Yep. Okay. I had to take that part of the book because it's like the biggest bullshit in my opinion ever. It's about misuse. This is actually what I mean. This is presenting the misuse of that energy in a book. Like, no. Because this is exactly where everybody failed before, and they will again. Yeah, it's about mastering yourself, but not about mastering your fellow man, controlling them and the whole world. Like, hello. Damn. So, and of course, we know who has already tried this, right? The Nazis did. And bringing them in because this is the only thing people know. Even though I have some other opinions to this, why this was done, but I'm not bringing that in here. So anyways, but we know history repeats itself. We know that. And here we are again, having to deal in fights against a psychopath ruling us or trying to rule us. And so therefore, it was not only the Nazis, it's still going on behind closed doors. And all those so-called secret societies that are still out there, so secret that everybody knows they exist. Because we're supposed to know that they exist. Because this way we get nicely distracted, right? We worry about the secret cults, the secret organizations. So we are busy trying to figure out why they're so busy. Meantime, the real ones doing whatever they want behind the scenery, because they're the ones that are really secret and you will never get to see them ever hear about them. And they have that real energy so good in control for now, or using it, that they're probably a few years older than us. And it is this energy that they don't want us to know about and to be able to control us. This is what we talk about. Our inner self, our gifts, our abilities to connect with nature again, and I'm explaining again the nature part in a bit. How to connect with nature, how to connect to the sun, how you can change the weather, how you can change it. Is it with spells? Is it with herbs? Is it with smudging? Is it with crystals? You can heal yourself with all of it that I just mentioned. You can manifest. I mean, this is the magic I'm talking about. It's that life energy, that life force. It's the hermetic principles, whatever you want to call it. So, and of course, they don't want us to know, because we are getting somewhere with this. So, let me give you an example beside the Nazis, okay? So, as I said, Vril is a power gained from the seed. I mentioned that before. But this is, of course, only a fracture of the true facts. the state of ours, if we were to adapt to present knowledge, we would have to use this aliveness, this force, to address the life-creating primal force or vital electricity. So Vril is magical energy, and not to compare with those we use in a technology, like I said in the beginning, like the purely physical forces, right? So the Atlanteans were psychophysical, dymo technician, and no mechano engineers like us. So their responsibility for the effects of the life energy was immense, especially in ethical and moral terms. So, and whose have they been aware for millennia? You know, being under the guidance of priests, right? Of the helpers. So conceived, happy and satisfied. And I'm sure they knew also about immortality. I want to even go that far. From what I receive personally, you can say it's a bunch of poo-poo, but I'm just telling you what I feel and receive. And I don't even think it's a city, that Atlantis was a city. I'm pretty sure it was a complete planet. I'm even pushing it a little further while I'm talking about it. Yeah, I'm pushing it. I'm even thinking it was a full planet. Maybe what we had before here, or maybe it was this planet, but the full planet. But again, I'm just throwing in ideas here. I'm not saying, oh, here, found it on Google, DuckGo, or whatever. This is just an idea that just popped in my head while I'm talking about it. So, and we were told by the Atlanteans that they mastered the real energy and thereby made themselves completely independent by nature's law. So in our eyes that might sound, they look like almighty, right? But the thing is, we have that too. We just have to reach out. So nature was completely subordinate to them. So and as long as they served the All-Mother Nature faithfully and had moral on a constant readiness to support the folk-based life lead, as long as they were upholding moral dignity and all-embracing law framed them with, you know, so that yeah, how can I explain that? The real power as never-ending blessing framed them with blessings and creativity and the universal energy, you know, a paradise on earth. Okay, and this is visions a lot of people get, how it was before and how it will be again, or how it can be again. So, and I'm thinking that in this case, that they didn't have the weather as we have now here, you know. So they probably had sunshine all along. So, but then again, what happened? At one point, they start forgetting their dignity and the primeval power in the service of mutual destruction. And this is when all hell broke loose. You know, sounds familiar? Anybody feels they're having full respect to Mother Nature? Yeah. So, what the Vril did, this life energy, it shook the foundations of the whole continent and might have smashed the globe, even though it was not decided otherwise in divine providence, you know, would have been. So Atlantis sank and the ocean fell poured into the resulting depth of the earth. Destroyed by their own hatred, the whole culture was wiped out. The waves were singing the song of die and become, you know, once upon a time. So, but looking back at the ancient cultures that got eliminated because they lived in tune with nature and knew about this energy, they again got wiped out from those societies. And with them, the secrets got wiped out. So, and I'm sure they got wiped out because they were living that, they were respectful to that energy. They knew how to deal with it and they could have used it for the good against the bad. So, yeah, Lemuria, the sunken Atlantis, you know. I mean, they had such a control of nature that even living humanity reaches a fairy tale level. Because that's what they were, the first people here. Yeah, but most likely a warning sign for our time here. So, you can call it the secrets of the deceased. So once again, there will be a time cycle. It said 10,000 years to unity. So as humanity slowly approaches this power again. But again, I'm not sure about 9,000, 10,000, 300 years. We don't know anymore. But it doesn't matter because we can feel it by now. We get more and more aware, and this is good. So we trust our intuition. We're giving into that energy. We connect more. We connect more with other people that are on our level. We connect more to our higher self, to our guides. You know, we develop our own gifts, and this is good. So, but again, either we get our shit together in every aspect, or either Earth will do a cleanup again, the Vril, or the ones using part of it will again. So either way, we gotta stand up, and I know it will be good. So let's go back here. So as we know by now, before ancient time on Earth, you know, like I said, local beings had tremendous insight into the laws of nature and were able to master nature. And these in a completely different way as we present the grounds of creation. At least this is how some of humanity feels like, but we're not. You know, every creation is good. And this is what I mean. They had tremendous insights. So that's why I'm sure everything was different. Climate was different. Surroundings were different. People were different. Or the beings were different. It was all different. So to go more into it, I will have to go a bit into atoms, matter, microcosmos, the power of the sun, etc. But please bear with me because I'm not a scientist and I want to have the information right that I'm researching, or most likely to explain it. But you know what I mean. But it's all part of it. But like I said, I'm not a scientist, and so I need a little time. So therefore, I'm talking about the ethical requirements and radiant light shining humanity. So, and this is what most of us get wrong. The esoteric love and light. And I tell you why it can't work and the difference. We know enormous dangers threaten all of humanity today, right? If with the achievements of a dynamic technology is driven abuse, so as already mentioned, the cultural world of the Atlanteans has also perished due to the abuse. For radiant technology requires radiant, shining people in order to work. And we talk about it again and again, shine your light. But what does that exactly mean? Vril is bound all radiant love, or radiation love, you can say too, and timeless construction. In short, it is steady evolution, okay? And shining means all charity. So therefore, since it means all charity, therefore this must be coming from the human race, for the divine gift of the radiant machine to be able to participate. So, and that includes the will to destroy. This must be overcome. So, and therefore let's talk about new human discipline and security organizations. So, the all-spirit shines forever, bound in love, okay? And that's the only way that we can make it happen. Absolutely. You know, so love and light, yeah, but not in an esoteric way. So please make note that I don't mean by that you have to take shit or have anyone treat you bad, you know. You don't have to go out there like and pretend. That's not right either. So yeah, you don't have to take shit. You know, if you have enough from someone, you have enough. If you want to move on, you want to move on. So this is not what I'm talking about. This is why we need light and dark. So we can separate what is good for us and what not. And if you don't like someone, like I said, it's totally okay. We need the dark to protect it, that protects and warns us. And I'm not saying, hey, shine your light and make yourself vulnerable for everyone. So here's what I mean. So mankind is in deep selfishness. If you give love and goodness in order to receive a love transaction and thinking what you can get out of it, then just forget about doing it. It's senseless, you know? Not only that this is not how it works, but you will torment yourself automatically by the thought, if you will receive bad if you do bad. You know what I mean? If you do something just with the thought, oh, what will I receive? Not good. But this comes also, you know, I would say from the church and other bullshit, because they planted this into us that we were born with sin and you receive what you give and you give what you receive, blah. You know? Bull. So because they made it sound like so, yeah, we're bad already. Totally discouraging. But anyways, I'm not getting into the church now. So just remember that a good soul will shine automatically, you know, and with this, you will start to become free, because selfness shines radiant, and this energy will reflect back to the universe, back to the Vril, back to that atom, and you will be gifted, and you will become the creator. And in this moment, you are the creator. You are the creator of what you are doing. Transcendental effects become our own. So the human being as a spirit being completely the substance to his connected earthly body, and resembles what most people see, a joyless creature in dark dungeon. You know, light and sun are rarely guests. So I know many are not happy, but you just gotta suck it up, you know. We just have to build windows in our dungeon. We have to let the sun in so that the energy can flow through us. So please don't feel trapped in your body, please. I mean, this is who you are now for a reason. Remember that the Vril, the microcosmos, is in you. And what you are learning is the beginning of magical love, but we are now in the bodies that we are, and we need to work and build up right here. I mean, once you understand the concept of love and light, you will attract the Vril, electricity, you can call it. And once you understand and get there, your physical body will feel much lighter too, and much better. Because in the end, it does not matter if you have a body or not. It is what you have inside of you. And if you learned, understood, you know, then you attracted the Vril. So we need to turn into absolutely positive, creative spirit. We need to turn into that. So that we can, you know, so that our spirits can do what she wants, and so that we learn the truth of things, discover our senses. We need to become this master of the dynamic, shaped in solar systems and atomic structures. So, means and ways to know the oldest wisdom, to unfold it to those radiant, shining, light, creative ones. I mentioned this last time too, already in number 1, but I'm going to bring that in. We understand that the universe is filled with Vril, and Vril is not manufactured within the human body, okay? This just to explain that again. It is a universal force, which every atom in the universe is pulsating with. Is there a limit to the quantity of Vril? One might think that. If there is a limit to the universe, then that is the limit to the amount of Vril. But some believe Vril, like subatomic particles, blinks in and out of our universe, which would mean there is no limit to the quantity of Vril. Our bodies have the capacity to absorb Vril and store up a reserve supply, and use and transform Vril into various forms necessary for a variety of purposes in maintaining and ensuring the function of the many organs of the body as well. We also have the ability to increase the amount of Vril our bodies can store up and use it for such purposes as increasing our supply of personal luck. You know, the manifesting. Vril is gathered, stored and transformed, but never is created by the human body, though it can be shaped and transformed. So, and just as Vril cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed. Now think about that. So from all that has been said so far, it is clear that this is not a new invention, right? But it's a world-changing matter. It's a world-changing matter the natural mastery of man brings. So if the real force gets into irresponsible hands, yeah, well, I mean, you've seen what happened before, and I don't even want to think about what can happen with those psychopaths these days. So you may think, what is she talking about? The energy is in the hands of the regime already, if I think about it or look around. No, it isn't. So, I mean, they might have their patents and technology, and since they're psychopath, you know, they probably think too, they need to control the Vril, they need to control mankind and take on the world. You know what I mean? So, yet I want to even say they didn't understand it. They're using it for power, but they have not understood it. Maybe from a technical or scientific point, but not from the heart. So, and since they're seeing we are getting there, this is why, you know, the reason they're poisoning us. They're changing the weather on us, they're doing the mind control, and so on. But again, we can conquer, we can work against it with the same energy. Like I said, even the weather. You can heal your own body. You can manifest things. So, because the harnessing of the primordial power leads a complete new human age and conquers its rulers. So, it's a huge power, so a power that has to be used for the good only. And how can I explain that? I tried to explain that before with a I was asked before, so if you can use only magic, for example, for the good, because you get it back 3 times, how can it be they are still what they're doing and haven't received anything yet? So this is how I see it in my head. Just a vision how I see it in my head. A picture I have in my head about this. So I see 2 atoms or 2 stars. So they're facing each other. So now on the right side, it starts giving out, let's say, honest love, right? The unconditional love, just as an example, giving it out to the other atom and the other star, and it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. So, but at one point it will burst. So everything that it was fed, that on the left side it was fed with, it got fed with positiveness, with good. So it pops open, right? Or explodes like a star. And because the atom on the right side, or the star on the right side, is close and will get hit by it. So, but it will get hit and poured with that positivity. And because it grows so big, it's 3 times as big you know? So, but this is the same that happens with the negativity. You feed it with negativity, you fill it, I wish this person bad, this person bad, I curse you and I curse you. So atom or star number 2 on the left side grows, gets fed, it grows 3 times as big as atom number 3 on the right side. Bam! Or the star. I was asked to use the star as an example, but I see the atom in my head. Sorry, honey. So and of course, when atom number 2 on the left side explodes 3 times as big, 3 times bigger as that one on the right side. On the right side, it gets hit 3 times as hard with all, you know, what just exploded on him. I hope I make any sense, but this is how I see it in my head, and I can't explain well what I see in my head because there are no really words for, so I hope you understand. I'm pretty sure you will understand what I mean. So yeah, that's my sample of atoms and Vril. And that's why it's so important to do pretty much only good, you know? I mean, at least with honesty. Yeah, that's why it's so important. I mean, we know that they're building so much technology with it, and like I said, it goes even to the chemtrails and everything else. And right now they're working on the secret of the coher of Fritter. It was one of the first electromagnetic wave detectors. So I'm just throwing that in there for now, because this is a glowing magnetism. I will talk about this in another episode, but this primal machine cannot ever get into irresponsible hands, like seriously. The new age needs new people, and it needs balance. It needs the balance of power. It needs to balance this power. I mean, put the 2 stars together or the 2 atoms. It's always about balance, you know? So I hope I explained it understandable enough. So I mean, it's hard for me anyways, because I have to translate it in English from German to English. My German thoughts I have to translate into English. So, and with this said, I want to talk also about the rune Ur or Uruz today. Because as you know, for me, the runes go with this energy as well. And Uruz came to me while I was writing about it. I call it a real rune for me as well, personal, and I will understand why. So in the Vril series number 1, I mentioned Iwas before, and this rune is associated with Yggdrasil, the vertical cosmic axis, and the Kundalini fire, as well as the spinal cord, right? And I would like to say that the Kundalini is not just plain, not to mistake with plain sex energy, like, you know, the Humpty Dumpty kind of sex energy. Please don't. No. Okay, and I was, that rune causes the real energy to travel between different worlds in Yggdrasil, and between the different level of consciousness, okay? So like Yggdrasil's position in the cosmos, so is the role of the spinal column plays its role in the human body. Because the human spine has 24 vertebrae, which in turn form a correspondence to the 24 runes of the Elder Fudak. So, and I talked about ever since it symbolizes the spine as well. So start from bottom to head on the spine. So, and I should have started with Fihu, but I felt the energy of Uruz. And so, in starting below, it is located between the sacral and root chakra, like the fourth lumbar on the spine, I think. So Uruz is the second rune of the Fudak, and she's a very powerful and highly energetic rune. That's why I think it came to me. It's actually the primal power of the earth. So it contains the very powerful power of Mother Earth. It represents the world even before creation of man. So she is the overwhelming force of nature. So it's also called Yord. She is the primal mother, and her strength is also in this rune. So Yord is the goddess of the Azen, and she is the mother of Freya and also the mother of the god Thor. So the rune itself, if you look at it, represents the horn of Uruz and can be seen as a gateway to the underworld. So Ur can also be seen as an indication of the earth well, and the earth well gives health, life and simplicity, and reveals the essential self. Ur, so the word Ur, U-R, is also a prefix in German, and it indicates old age and wild creativeness. So the rune harbors the wild power of creation. It always goes to the source, like the source of our energies, and she's also the mother of knowledge, wisdom, design. So, and with Uruz, you create something new from the origin. Uruz is the rune of strength, and as well as the termination and the new beginning. Yeah, it is the rune of passage, as it is to experience death inside as well. So, and in order to balance the extremes, it's essential to pay attention to the now and the favor of the moment. So, and she can ask you, and Uruz asks you if you can use your creative powers and your own energy. And you should go your own way and trust your very own nature, you know. Go wherever you have to go and do it with all might. Do not let yourself get off balance. You know, no matter what happens, stay calm and reflect on your strength. Like I said, Uruz, the mother of knowledge, of wisdom and design, like I said. So it is the breeding ground for the fullness of our action, and with Uruz you have the strength to fulfill your dreams. So what Uruz says is, go your way full of strength. And there's also a little poem about Uruz. I hope I translated it correct. It's sometimes hard to translate from German to English, like poems. So Uruz is called second. She has recognized the power in you. Like an ox is so strong. See what power hid within you. In your original being, Mother Earth lets you recover. Shape your life and go your way. Upright passage over stone and pier. Stay calm even when trouble threatens. This, my friend, is Uruz. So, I mean, you see what I mean, that it works with that life force energy. right? Especially since it's between the root and the sacral. So, yeah, maybe let that sink for a bit. I will at least need another 2 weeks to prepare the next one. And I really want to get into the societies too and all of that dirty part of it, to hint people what is going on these days. And yeah, I hope you can work with it, or maybe at least I gave you a push in the right direction if you want to do your own research about it. And yeah, well, I thank you so much for coming and for listening. And I will be back next week. Next week I will be talking about smudging again, about the alchemy of smudging. And yeah, we will see what will come next. I know I'm going from A to B. I have so much to talk about, but so little time. I'm working full time as well. So please bear with me if I'm not, always on time. But thank you again so much for listening and for stopping by. And yeah, much love and have a sunny day. Bye.